What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to ForTheFans, the bi-weekly football and football manager podcast with myself, Jack, and my co-host, Ben. Today we're going to be talking about the Premier League fixtures over the weekend, and a little bit of FM14 in for good measure. Let's get straight into this. Okay, guys, so we are back, full ForTheFans. This is week 4. Ben, how have your last 2 weeks been?
They've been great. I've been mountain climbing, I've been skydiving, and I've lied a lot in the last 2 weeks as well. No, it's been good though. I've had a lovely time. Football's been back on all the time. Can't go a day without a bit of football. So it's the perfect time to do a podcast, Jack.
Why not? Yeah, exactly. So if you are new around here, because I have had a load of new viewers, this is a bi-weekly podcast that me and Ben do. So settle down, listen in. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to the podcast and get it downloaded straight to iTunes. And kick back and enjoy the show. So anyway, Premier League, should we delve straight into the depths of it? I don't know what match you want to start with.
Oh, let's dive. Shall we go for the biggest game of the weekend? I think we probably should.
Right, Aston Villa, West Ham.
It was the Claret and Blue Army. They should have had it where the teams should have fought for the kit.
Yeah, that would have been a better idea. They might have scored then.
Are we really going to talk about that game? Because
no, right, move on. I'm sorry if you're a West Ham fan or Villa fan, but you're not worth it this week. Let's go with Liverpool and Arsenal, or Arsenal-Liverpool. 2-0. We're both Liverpool fans. What did you make of it?
Arsenal got lucky. No, I don't know. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't see the full game because I was on a tube for an hour and a half while it wouldn't move in London. Yeah, nightmare.
So
I had to follow it on Twitter, and I have watched it I have watched it since. So I've seen enough to know that Arsenal were a bit better. I hate to admit it. And Liverpool didn't really turn up, if you ask me.
The first half, we were really trying to press them back. And that's fine. If you're going to press a team, that's fine. But you have got to defend as a unit. And, I mean, Arsenal's off-the-ball movement, particularly by their midfield. And then, I don't know, there was little tracking back by Liverpool. It was pretty painful to watch.
Yeah, from the highlights I've seen, and I've watched the full first half. And what Arsenal did really well, which I think is the perfect way to play against Liverpool, if any other Premier League managers are listening, is Liverpool are at their best when they all of a sudden get in behind. You look at goals Suarez and Sturridge have scored recently, it's when they've either burst past a player or had a 3-ball nipped in. And Arsenal sat incredibly deep for an Arsenal team. I know Mertesacker's not the quickest, so it's not the worst thing they can do anyway. But if they sit so deep, and then you haven't got Glenn Johnson on one side pushing, really forcing the issue out wide, then Liverpool become a very easy team to defend against because they haven't got loads of men going forward because they've got 3 centre-backs and they've got Lucas sitting and Gerrard's playing much deeper than he used to. So it's incredibly difficult to break down an Arsenal team who set up that defensively. And I think that was kind of what won them the game, apart from the fact that Aaron Ramsey scored an absolute screamer.
Yeah, there was nothing you could do about that. I mean, Arsenal's first goal, I think, epitomised the game. I was kind of surprised with the inclusions of Sissoko and Flanagan. Don't know what you make. I don't know if Enrique and Johnson aren't fit. You can fill me in there.
Johnson was ill, so that was that. And Martin Kelly, do you know what? Because I wasn't around, I don't know if he was on the bench or what.
He was on the bench, which is why I'm a little bit confused. That's
surprising. Maybe Rodgers sees Kelly more of a centre back finally. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't think against Arsenal he's got it in him. And although Flanagan hasn't played in the Premier League for 2 years, whatever it is, the game I remember him doing very well in was the game him and Jack Robinson were fullbacks, and I think they got a draw away at the Emirates in the game where
2-2, I think.
Well, I thought it was the 1-1 where Dirk Kuyt scored in the 112th minute.
Oh, what, the penalty? Was it a penalty? Yeah, I do remember that game. It might have been.
He handled Arsenal really well, so I don't know if Rodgers had remembered that potentially. I don't know, but apparently, from what I heard, he did all right.
He didn't do too bad. I mean, they did keep him on. Liverpool changed their shape at half-time and went with a flat back four, which I think definitely coped with the kind of late runs from the deeper players that Arsenal had. And I think it kind of worked better. I think the thing is that 3-5-2 that Liverpool like to play is great if you have the ball in a kind of a higher calibre than the team you're playing. But ultimately, Arsenal's passing was just better on the day. And I think if you're playing with 3 at the back, you've got to defend well. And I do feel like defensively, the centre-backs weren't great. Their shape wasn't great. They got lost with the runners. And I do think Lucas and Gerrard were pretty disappointing in terms of their contribution, particularly defending.
Yeah, I think the problem Lucas and Gerrard have is they're defending the space not only in front of themselves but behind them because the defence can't afford to step out, which I think is wrong. I think one of the Liverpool defenders, every time Arsenal come forward, should be stepping out, and then the other two squeeze. But that didn't look like it was happening, because otherwise you're asking Lucas Gerrard to deal with Ozil, Cazorla, Ramsey and Rosicky. And when they are effectively... I watch Arsenal like relatively a lot. That's not really a very good sentence, that might get cut. I watch Arsenal quite a lot, and they get to do what they want. Like, they are basically free runners to go down in whatever channel they like, and you're asking Lucas to mark two of them at once and Gerrard to mark the other two. And yeah, it didn't work. And hence Ramsey got space to score his goal. It was a great goal, but like, there's no one... If you're playing a West Ham, that goal probably doesn't go in because they have enough people sitting in front of the defence, stopping that sort of thing from happening. So... yeah.
Liverpool up their game in the second half, but that wonder strike just put it beyond doubt, and in reality Liverpool just didn't look all that threatening going forward.
No, but hats off to Arsenal.
I mean, Liverpool are still third, Arsenal 5 points clear. I said a few weeks ago I thought they could win the league, and we said that the next 5 games were going to be big. I'm going to stand by my statement. Alright,
I still don't think they will. I think the team that might, though, will be the team that won 7-0 at the weekend.
Oh, should we? We both have Norwich links of sorts.
Yeah, it's not been a great weekend.
No, my dad went to the game and
he
wasn't very happy. Apparently they left after 60 minutes.
Oh, blimey. What was that, 6-0?
That was 5-0 at that point.
Well, see, look, I think someone said it on Match of the Day that City either look like they're going to absolutely destroy you or look really inept. And Norwich came up against a City that looked like they wanted to destroy them.
Their movement was amazing. Although, to be fair, Norwich just stood off them so much. They let them play football.
It's similar to how we were talking about Liverpool, that Norwich set up with 2 players intent on defending the space in between whoever's up front for them and Basong and Turner who sit behind them. And much like Arsenal, City are the same. They've got Nazari, they've got Silva, they've got Toure, they've got Aguero who dips in. And there's not enough mind going on in Norwich. Norwich can't figure out where to move. So then as soon as they do move, the space they leave is filled by someone else. And when it's someone who's, in my eyes, world class, the 4 players I just named there, you're going to be absolutely battered. So you kind of have to sit in 2 banks of 4, which Norwich didn't do particularly well. And Norwich were poor and City were good. And 7-0.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that worried me most watching the Norwich game was the fact that the entire midfield of Norwich literally blended with the back 4 at times. They were literally just 8 players stood on the edge of the 18-yard box, just like, you know what, you can pass it and break us down and break them down. They did. That's one thing I've kind of had a complaint with Norwich about, is that they kind of just sit. And, there's playing defensive to protect your goal difference. Yeah. And then there's playing so deep that, and letting a team play so much football that they score 7 against you, which is what happened. I mean, there were some real sloppy mistakes, I think. I don't know. I think it might be Houghton out time, dare I utter the words. I love Chris Houghton as a coach. I just don't think he makes the right decisions at the right times.
No, I think it's bizarre that how they set up against City, because last game of last season, Norwich are now a better team by like when you look at who they've got personnel wise, and they beat City last year 3-2, and this year they go back to the Etihad and get absolutely destroyed. And they went at City. You've got to go at the big. You know, it really irritates me when the so-called lesser teams don't just attack the bigger team. You're not expected to beat the top 6. No one's expecting you to, but at least have a go. If you're going there as Norwich looking for a 0-0, you're gonna get what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So just really, like, you look at Newcastle. I'm not calling Newcastle a small team, but they're like a mid-table team, and they gave Chelsea a good fucking game.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean? And it's just, I guess we'll move on to that game. Chelsea, I don't know what they're doing. So weird this season.
I love Mourinho because I love how he tries to play, and I mean, Chelsea 61% of possession away. They could create chances, but I mean, Newcastle in front of goal were just sublime. You know, I think Chelsea had like 1 or 2 shots on target, and Newcastle had like the same amount of shots, but so many more on target, and just created so many better chances. and they defended better, and then they hit teams on the break, like they did against Chelsea, in a 2-0 win, and a game that they probably thoroughly deserved to win just based off how they attacked when they did have the ball.
Yeah, the ball in from Kabay for the Gouffran goal was absolutely lovely. It was just, I think Pardew said in this post-match interview that he kind of said, get it in behind him, and boy did he. It is such a good ball. It's such a difficult ball to pull off, and as Pardew also said, it's brave of Gouffran to stick his head in, because you just expect a John Terry boot to be there.
Yeah.
So that was a great goal, and then Remy showed a bit of almost, okay, maybe it wasn't composure, maybe it was just instinct, and he's pretty good at that. And he knocks in the second, and Mourinho looks glum, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think it was a bad day in the office for Chelsea. The fact that they took off Torres and Natter really says it all. Torres, I don't know, with Torres, he seems to be a different player every game you see him, and then Natter just looks like he's lacking confidence now. Just, I can see him going in January back to Spain.
I don't want to speak too soon, but there are rumours that Natter is eyed up and moved to another Premier League club, and I don't want to say which one. I'm just saying that there's been talk,
yeah.
which is very vague, but all I'm saying is there's been talk that he'll move to another Premier League club where he'll get games.
What club would that be?
It may well be in the North West, and it may well be
Everton. Oh, okay.
May well be, yeah. It's one of them.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't want to, because if it doesn't,
Carlisle are looking forward to that then.
I'll tell you what, Paul Ince is going to have a whale of a time when he pops up at Bluefield Road, let me tell you.
But no, I mean, Chelsea worry me, because I look at their team on paper and look at how they lined up, and you go, that team's going to create chances. And they didn't break down Newcastle. I've been a bit critical of, is it Mbuya on Twitter for his defending for Newcastle, but he had a good game. He's been lacking confidence at the back. I think the whole of Newcastle's defence has, but the 2 wins they've got recently against Liverpool and Chelsea are going to do them the world of good.
I agree. I fully agree. I do you know what? Newcastle aren't a bad team. They just didn't start the season that well. And everyone goes ridiculous over it. And now, what are they, top 6? Not top 6.
I think
top 9.
They're up there. They're up there.
They're closer to Manchester United than they are the relegation zone, which tells you everything you need to know.
It's not a bad way to bounce back against your local rivals, beating you the week before, is it? And speaking of local rivals, perfect link there. Sunderland Hull. How did Hull get on?
That's not where I thought you were going, but alright, yeah, Sunderland.
I'm throwing the curveball, I'm throwing it.
Sunderland lost their heads a bit.
A bit? That second tackle made me angry. I don't know if you... I'm assuming you might have seen it, but I was literally enraged when I saw it.
It's like they don't know... what is... Do you know what? I'm a bit lost for words. It wasn't like at the end of the half, the first... Were they both towards the end of the half?
Both first half.
But like after 40 minutes?
It was... I can check that for you. But it was just... The first tackle is one that you can make and maybe get away with. They were both in added time at the end of the first half.
That's mental. That is absolutely mental. Poyet must be pulling his hair out.
The two they're just stupid. The second one made me angry. The first one by Catamol, he was walking before he knew he was off. Like, it's the kind of tackle that a few years ago you might have got away with, just a yellow.
Yeah.
And they'd say it was mistimed, but with the whole new, it's a reckless challenge, or I don't want to think there was malicious intent, because it did look like he was sliding to block the ball, but I mean, 2 sendings off. Kind of amazed that Hull only grabbed the 1, and that was before the 2 sendings off. Sunderland repping the 4-3-1 formation.
Repping.
But I mean, shocking. I mean, Sunderland ended up having to use all their subs at the start of the second half just because they had to reshape their team completely because of 2 stupid sendings off.
Yeah, and then you're fighting to get back into a game with 9 men. Do you know what? Credit to the rest of the players for not absolutely crumbling there. 9 men against... I know you're against Hull, and Hull aren't Man City, but, that's still quite an achievement to hold Hull City off. That'll give the other players confidence to think, you know what, we can dig in, and if we've got 2 more players, we might actually win a game. So, you never know. But yeah, weird, isn't it? That they just... That is like the number one thing you'd be saying to your players is, last 5, don't lose your heads, come in.
Yeah.
Let's refocus and reshape.
Well, the thing is, you write up a team talk in the 45th minute and suddenly you're down to 9 men.
Yeah, you got nothing.
I mean, they say a goal's the worst time to concede just before half-time. I'd say 2 sendings off just before half-time is probably twice as worse.
Yeah.
I think the challenges are going to overshadow that game. And speaking of matches in which tackles and challenges might have been overshadowed, there was a certain Mr. Lukaku who raised a very interesting debate by kneeing Lloris in the head. I don't think it was intentional.
No.
The whole concussion debate, but that game was pretty dire besides that.
It looks pretty horrible, like the way Lloris's head looked like it could have come off.
Well, he blacked out apparently, and it does raise the question, should players be allowed to continue? Because Brad Friedel was there ready, he's thinking, I'm going to get a 93rd minute debut for the season, and then they're like, no, sorry mate.
Do you know what I love about that? That Stefan Freund was trying to say to Friedel, it's alright mate, just sit back down. And AVB would not look at him. He was like, I don't want you, I saw you the other week, don't get anywhere, sit, put your jacket back on. Lloris, come on. You go.
It does make you wonder, though. When a player blacks out on the pitch, you cannot let him continue to play.
No.
That's my opinion on it. I just think it's stupid, because concussion, I've had it once playing football. I got headbutted in the back of the head and was concussed. And it's just, you end up being sick the next morning. You don't remember a lot. And it's just how the medical professionals are allowed to let him continue. Because the ref did have him properly checked up, and the game ended up having a stupid amount of added time.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Lukaku had any intent. I actually think he thought, Lloris has got the ball, and I think he was just running beyond him to then come back round. And I think what happened was Lloris's momentum took him into the path of Lukaku, and Lukaku just didn't think he was going to run into him.
It was a little bit like, it's not dissimilar to when Czech got done in.
I think that one was a little bit malicious by Hunt.
Yeah, it was like a similar situation though. Like one's coming out, one's rushing in. He's not going to get the ball, but he makes contact. It's one of those.
I think if you watch Lukaku, he gives up on it, and he's just going to run, continue running as players do to show he's put the effort in, because he can't just magically stop.
Yeah.
And come back around. And I genuinely think Lloris's momentum just takes him into him. But yeah, it did look grim. Lukaku was up looking at the crowd, but pretty dire game besides that. I think Everton will probably be happy with the point, as will Tottenham probably. Away from home against Everton isn't an easy game.
Yeah. I think they'll both be pleased not to lose, but both be disappointed not to win. It's one of those. They'll kind of take the point, but they'll both feel like they could have won it, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, what's your opinion on the whole kind of concussion? Should there be a 4th emergency sub be allowed if a player gets a head injury? I guess players would then fake head injuries, but should a player be forcibly taken off? Because, of course, the players will be like, yeah, I want to continue.
Well, I'm sure they said it wasn't a concussion, but I'm not sure they could have known that. He had a CT scan, and I'm not sure they could have known at the time. I think you're playing with his career a little bit there, and I don't really like that.
I mean, it was a really bad tackle. I know the Everton fans were booing. I actually don't think they realised how bad it was, if I'm honest. I think they were more booing because of the fact Lukaku got booked, because, as I mentioned, I don't think it was anything particularly malicious. I think he was just running on. But still, a bit interesting. What other game was on today?
Well, hang on.
Cardiff Swansea?
Yeah.
Oh, have you got more? Got more.
I feel like we should have gone to that earlier. I feel like there's going to be Welsh people going, they should have done it. Why the fuck has gone Chelsea? Talk about the Welsh one. But yeah, that was a feisty affair.
I wish it was feistier. Is that a word?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Feisty is a word.
Feistier. I expected that derby to have explosions and stuff, and fights and sendings off, and in the end, Worms was a bit of a... what's the word? A bit of a...
It was. I love the fact he thought he would just get away with it.
Yeah.
I love that when keepers do that. What do you mean? What? What? No. Oh, you saw it. Oh shit. Okay. All right. Yeah. There you are, Rangel. Put these on.
But yeah, it was a bit. I mean, Corker scored, set piece. It was a little bit of a flat affair. I think it was a bit anticlimactic, but Cardiff fans are going to be loving it. Swansea fans aren't going to be loving it. Bragging rights go to Cardiff. Hopefully Swansea will be thinking they can get back into it. I thought Michu was probably the player who could have had an impact for Swansea, but he was so crap.
Really? Apparently, I didn't see the game, I can't lie, but apparently Gary Medell had his best game in a...
he was incredible.
In a Cardiff City shirt.
When he went to them, we talked about it in the transfer show. We talked about the fact that he'd gone to them, and we were a little bit worried that he came with this reputation of being, this player who's going to murder players on the pitch and get sent off every other game. He looked like the player most up for it. He ran for every ball. He was superb chasing it. He's obviously got this reputation coming from South America. You expect their players to have a good bit of fight. And he is kind of that bulldog player in the centre of midfield. And he bossed the show. He was one of the leading lights in Cardiff, and I I'm kind of amazed Cardiff got him, and the same way I'm amazed they got Corker, but I think those two players were really what won them the game ultimately. But Medell was incredible. Yeah.
Corker obviously scored against Swansea, who was with last season. So I don't know. Did he celebrate? I'll be honest, I didn't.
He did celebrate just a little bit.
I quite like that though. I don't think he should be not celebrating a goal in the Premier League.
Speaking of not celebrating a goal, Begovic's goal. Goalkeepers Union. These are all tying in beautifully right here. Fourth fastest goal in Premier League history, and by a keeper.
Yeah, Boric kind of. I loved. My favourite part wasn't even the goal, although I quite enjoy seeing the goalkeeper score. Was when Boric just kind of gets up out of his net and just bashed it forward like a volleyball. I was like, oh, he's not happy. He is not happy. 13 seconds in. To me, it was like he was just pretending it hadn't happened. Should we restart? Yeah, bang. Restart, and then.
It was one of those freak goals where the wind catches it, which you see a few times too often almost in the Premier League, it feels like.
Yeah, but it's entertaining.
It is entertaining.
Would you want to see it every week?
It's not going to happen every week, though. It'd be a bit boring if there's always going to be a goal in the first 14 seconds and we know it's going to go one way or the other.
Yeah, but you'd never know it. You wouldn't know who it was. It's a bit like bingo.
Well, so we're going to turn it into a game of chance, but before kick-off, right, we're going to spin a wheel and give one of you a goal.
Yeah, do you know what? That's not even a bad idea.
Oh God, don't! If the FA are watching, don't hire Ben.
No, this is great. So what you do, you have like your wheel with the 20 clubs on, and one team each week gets a goal.
Should we just give them an extra point? That would be more exciting.
No, don't, Jack. Can we have enough stupid ideas, please?
I'm sorry.
Don't be so daft. No, what I'm saying is, you get someone, Greg Dyke. He's there with the big wheel. You spin it, you go, here we go, tick, 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 tick. Sunderland. Also, if it was Stoke, it'd be their, the wheel would be their joint top goal scorer, which would be great. I don't think this is a stupid idea at all. This needs to come in.
Why don't they do it like the FA Cup where they have like a bit... They can use the balls again, because those balls with the numbers on get like used once. I mean, why do they have numbers on and not names? That's what I've always wondered.
Why they still doing it with balls? Just do it electronically. No one's that bothered, are they?
Why don't they do it like on Soccer AM, where they have like the big sheet of cards for the like Johnson's Paint Trophy? I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah, do you know what though? That fucking sickens me. I hate that. I've only seen it once and I was like, what is this? They were so shambolic, which is fine, because it doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
So I think they should be doing it in different ways. I think they should just be guessing. Like, people should just be able to pick their own results from now on.
They should have a vote.
Is you one?
Do a match the day styled vote on Twitter, because that's like the best way of getting fair results.
Yeah. How many people think Arsenal are going to win the league? Bear in mind there are 5 clubs that really don't like Arsenal and also want to win the league. Text in now.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh.
Right, so the people say that Arsenal are going to win. I think Arsenal won that like 51% to 49%, but I don't really get the point in those polls.
I imagine only Arsenal fans voted though. And then the occasional bit of Tottenham fan jumps in.
What other games are there? I'm looking through these thinking that I think we've only got 2 more left to cover.
Go on then, let's be quick about it.
Right, West Brom, we're going to leave Man U to last because we're bitter Liverpool fans.
That's not even, I didn't even realise we'd done that.
It's fine. The Man U fans have turned off now, so we can go ham on them. But no, West Brom, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, are they in trouble and are they at risk of scoring the lowest points total ever in the Premier League?
Yes and yes.
I think you could have bets on who's going to finish bottom out of them and Sunderland. I think that's going to be an interesting game.
No, I think Palace will. Sorry, Palace fans. But I think Palace will definitely finish bottom. They just haven't got any depth. And they haven't really got a lot of quality. Like, even West Brom have got like a far superior team. Players like Sessegnon and Shane Long and whoever else you've got, Chris Brunt. Like, they're better than... I don't think Shamak's dreadful, but they're better than Shamak and like Jedinak and Delaney.
What do you make of the departure of Holloway?
Oh yeah, that happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
Bit shocked, really, because they haven't got a squad to compete. So what? I don't know. Well, I guess the argument would be he's not actually been that good since he came in.
Yeah, maybe.
Like they've not won a lot of games, even in the playoffs. Or what have you? I think they got through, didn't they? But despite that, they've not been that good. I think a lot of people kind of tipped him for automatic, and then that kind of didn't happen. They kind of drifted off, and he's an outspoken character. I hope he's back in the game soon, though. It wasn't as hilarious this time, so I'm not as upset.
I think he's tried to calm himself a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like it. Stop being so sensible.
West Brom will be happy with that win. I can't remember the name of their striker now. I'm trying to remember his name. The English chap who seems to have emerged, and everyone's like, take him to the World Cup.
Oh, Alma Fintano.
Yeah,
is it that?
You know the kind of fanfare that happens. I think his name's Barino.
Who are we on about? Oh, Barino.
Yeah, it's Ross Barkley all over again. He scores once, and they're all going mental.
On that, I do think Ross Barkley will be like a future England star.
Oh, I do, but I don't think he's a current one.
No, not yet.
I don't think he'll go to the World Cup. Put it that way.
Don't you? I think that's interesting. I think he will.
We'll find out. But no,
we will. Stay tuned.
But Barino, it's the same fanfare. I hate the pressure that young players come under. It's like they score one for their club against Crystal Palace. Right, they get them into the England team. Young English gem.
That's how desperate we are.
Yeah, it's true. He scored one, right? Get him in the squad.
We will take anyone right now.
Yeah, it is true. It's a sad state, English football.
Speaking of the best strikers in the world, Manchester United.
Oh, what? Have they signed Ibra?
Oh, that's a... Was that not a stream chat you had?
We'll come back to that later.
All right.
Wayne Rooney scored, another English chap. 3 goals for Man U in the first 22 minutes. 3 subs at half-time. 3 subs for Fulham and 1 goal for Fulham. What did you make of it?
That's progress, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Fulham... did I predict Fulham to go down at the start of the season? I feel like I did.
I don't know. Rewind the stream. Go back and watch the first episode. Someone let us know.
Yeah, episode 1. Did I say that Fulham would go down? If so, leave a comment. If not, never talk of it again. I think Fulham will be the 3rd team to go down. I'm not sure who else with Palace. Like Sunderland kind of look like a good bet right now, but I still think they've got some decent players. No, I think Fulham are in danger. Martin Jol looks very sad.
I can see him going by the end of next week.
I think the question for Norwich and Fulham are in similar situations. Who are they going to bring in?
Di Matteo, Chris Coleman.
Exactly.
I think Chris Coleman back to Fulham isn't a bad shout.
I do. I think it's a dreadful
shout.
But
I think it could happen, but I don't think it would be the right thing to happen.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there's talk of Bellamy getting the Welsh job with Mark Hughes, isn't there?
Has he actually?
Not with Mark Hughes, sorry, with Giggs.
Has that actually happened?
There's a rumour that'll happen.
Oh dear.
Fancy that?
No, I can't see it happening.
The Giggs Bellamy dream team?
Why don't we make Lampard and Gerrard England manager while we're at it?
John Terry. John Terry's who you need.
Big JT.
Big JT in the dugout.
God.
We get Roy, get JT in. That's what we need.
We've got Gary Neville, that's enough.
That is enough. Him and Carragher.
Why not?
Oh, there you go. Now we're talking.
But then, who am I going to watch on a Monday night?
Ed Chamberlain.
Oh, God.
Just Ed Chamberlain. Just one
He
man
doesn't
back.
have a clue. He's just like, right, we'll get the knowledgeable guys on and I'll just pad it with bullshit in between.
Yeah, but he's not there to have a clue. He's there to get... I don't know why we're talking about Sky Sports.
We're just criticising Sky Sports now. If you're from Sky, this has never happened.
We talk about Manchester United and it immediately descends to Gary Neville, England and Sky Sports. I'm really sorry. Right, so they beat Fulham. Are they? I feel like they're going to suddenly go under the radar. They've got some... After the Arsenal game, they've got Cardiff, and then I feel like they're going to go on a little mini run here. And before you know it, they're going to be in the top 2.
Who are their up-and-coming fixtures?
Would you like me to find out?
Yeah, if you can find out. But no, I still think Man U will finish 5th. Unless Chelsea... If Chelsea don't book up their ideas, Man U might get 4th.
I think they've got a tricky run of fixtures, actually. I thought it was easier than this, but they've got Arsenal at home, then they've got Cardiff away, Tottenham away, Everton and Newcastle at home. So
yeah, there's a few... That'll be a test. If they slip up to a few of them...
Yeah.
Then they could be in trouble. I think Fulham were an easy-ish game to win. I'm trying to think what was the score last weekend for them, and I have a feeling it was quite a good result.
What, for Manchester United?
Yeah, I think they came back from a few goals down. I'm trying to remember now.
They beat Stoke, 3-2.
Yeah, that was a good... That might be the catalyst for change, although I still think beating Stoke 3-2 at home probably isn't the greatest result ever, if we're being brutally honest.
Well, when you look at it now, though, they are a win away from second.
Yeah, it's weird how things work out like that. I know... Obviously, that game against Arsenal is going to be an interesting one, because if they win and Arsenal lose, that's going to make the Premier League... I mean, the Premier League second to, I think it's 7th, there's 1 point in it, so it's already tight, but that would just make it incredibly tight. up
Well,
at the top.
if Arsenal beat United, they will be 11 points clear of United.
Yeah.
That's mad. That is crazy.
But then on the flip side, Arsenal slip up, you could end up potentially with, oh blimey, the top 7 separated by 2 points.
You could. That is... Yeah, I think a lot of the teams... I don't think many teams in the top 7 meet each other next week, apart from Arsenal United.
So that's an interesting... form-wise, there's a few teams who are definitely on form. Southampton are doing well. Have we talked about the Southampton game? I'm getting a feeling we've missed Southampton.
No, we did talk about Southampton.
Southampton Stoke,
goal.
Southampton haven't lost in their last 6 now.
Haven't they conceded, not many goals in comparison to the rest of Europe?
I think they might have conceded 4 or something stupid.
I think it might be less than that,
Yeah. I think it might be 4. I'm looking at it now, and I'm pretty sure it's 4 after the weekend's games. They've only scored 11 or 12 in 10, but, unbeaten. Not unbeaten, sorry. 5 wins, 4 draws. If you keep getting points and keep yourself ticking, there's no reason why you can't sneak up there. They're playing some nice football too.
They're still in the League Cup as well. I could see them doing a bit of a Swansea. They've got Sunderland in the League Cup, and I think that whoever wins that might play Chelsea, actually. But even so, Southampton could have a little go at this. I do like Southampton, actually. They're one of my more favourable teams.
Yeah, I think West Brom have been doing okay as well. They've only lost 1 in their last 6, and they've won 3 of them. So they were in danger, but they're back out of the danger zone now for the time being.
They are. Is that a Premier League wrap? I think it is.
I think that's the wrap. Although Crystal Palace still without any win in their last however many games. But should we move on from Crystal Palace?
Before we move on from the Prem stuff, I do want to say, if you want us to talk about lower league fixtures in particular, do let us know, because I think we will try to cover it if there's a demand for it.
Yeah, we've had a few suggestions, but
yeah. So if you want us to make it a more regular thing that we talk a little bit about the lower leagues, I'm talking League 1, 2, and the Championship, then we will do. I don't think we're going to gloss much over Europe, but we're going to kind of tie it in to our next chat, I feel.
Yep.
Am I right there?
We can do that. We can make it happen if people want it. We're a podcast for the people.
Blimey, is that the tagline?
No, it's not.
Thank God. Right, so
should we get on to the big news? I say it's big news. It's FM14. It's what the podcast. The podcast is all about. Are we a podcast? I don't know. What is a podcast? It's all a mystery. Right. Anyway, FM14. What do you think? 2 weeks on.
Speechless. I think it's fucking good. I love it. I love the fact network games are in now as well. That's about time.
I've not had a chance to test them. I've heard that the continue button flashes colours or something. Which probably... The amount of times I've been sat there in a network game and I'm like, oh shit, I'm the last person not to hit continue.
Yeah, it's
and I'm
nice.
waiting on someone else. So I imagine that's pretty useful.
Yeah, you always notice it as well. It's not like you can't ignore it because it's flashing colours of the rainbow. So it looks pretty.
Yeah.
Nice. But no, I spoke a little bit about my Norwich save last time. Since then I've started a few others, but I'm into 2018 I'm a Norwich one, so I'm still a bit pushed on. The thing that, although as I'm raving about the game, and I think it's great, and there's not an aspect of it which I find just infuriating, there are a few little things that annoy me, and I did mention it before we started, but because I'm Norwich, kind of mid-table Premier League side, pushing at Europe, safe for relegation, but not challenging for titles, I've signed a few young players. I got Benzia on a free. You've all heard of the little French lad who's an absolute machine. Gave him a free, has a great season, and then just wants to leave next year, the year after, which is great because I made a lot of money on him. But the same went for Will Hughes. They get to a position where they want to have a chat with you, and you're like, oh, good. And they're like, well, what do you want to achieve here at the club? And I tell them, and they're just like, no, it's not good enough. And it's never good enough.
I encountered a problem with my Wolves save that I've been streaming where...
You've been streaming?
I have been streaming. If you don't know, I've been streaming literally 12 hours a day for a week, which is why there's been a little bit of a lack of videos, but the videos are resuming. But no, for me, at Wolves, the problem I've had is I'll finish 4th in the league and get Champions League football one year, and it's at the end of season meeting, and I'm like, the board have told me, mid-table will be fine next year, and I'm like, oh, Europa League, we'll go for it again, back-to-back Europes. 4th was a little bit of a fluke. And then at end of team meeting at the end of the season, I'm there like, you know what, lads, good performance. We got Champions League. Let's go for Champions League again. Half the team react negatively and go, I think we should challenge for the title. I'm like, you what? We're fucking wolves here.
I do feel like sometimes expectations are skewed. I have the same thing where you say, like, to a team, I think we should aim for this, and like you'll have about 15 of them. God, great, yeah, great, and then you've got one guy who's just like, no.
There are a lot of more mardy fucks. Like, I think personality comes into it a little bit more now, which I think's good. I love how I loaned a player off Chelsea when I was in the Championship, and I had signed another player to replace him, and I wasn't playing this other guy, and he requested the termination of his loan, and I declined it. And then a few days later, I get a message from Jose Mourinho saying that he's concerned about our relationship and it could break down if I don't start playing this player who I've loaned in first team football. So kind of just that little, the little things.
Yeah, I had the same thing with Moyes and Nani. I got Nani in on loan and just never played him. And Moyes was like, this isn't working. And then the fact you can just like terminate it there and then, I quite like that. It just, everything feels, we said it 2 weeks ago, everything's just easier. There's no, you're not searching out to do stuff. It's just all in front of you. And if you are really in depth and into the game, you know where to look. So it's not like that's difficult. It just feels like a game which is set up for the user this year. And I'm not saying it wasn't last year, I just think it's even more so this year. And it's to an extent where it's like evidently noticeable, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the game is a lot better. I think it runs faster. I don't know if that's just me. It feels like it processes between days a hell of a lot quicker this year.
Yeah, even on my PC, I agree. My PC's pretty shit. But
I think they were trying to refine it this year, and they've certainly done that. I mean, there's not too much I can complain about. I mean, you're never going to get a reinvented wheel with FM, but they've done the little things right. All my old mods are now installed, skins are starting to be made, the Steam Workshop's now up. And I've been using that a fair bit to share tactics and stuff.
Yeah, I saw you put the wall on there.
I did put the wall on there. For those of you who don't know, the wall is a little bit of a joke from my live stream, but it's currently the most downloaded tactic on Steam, and it's useless. So it's pretty funny because loads of people have downloaded it, and if you saw it, you'd know it's useless. But it's got, let me check this, 2,100 downloads.
Wow, people are idiots.
There's like people in the comments who are clearly trying to write, I won the World Cup with Cowden beef, and then the next person's like, I find this tactic below average at best. For a defensive theme formation, it leaks goals terribly. It's like...
It's a great troll, this.
It's a great troll because... I don't know about you, but I don't really agree with people just downloading tactics. I'll upload my tactics because I get asked about it a lot, and I'd rather just upload it and, a tactic's a tactic at the end of the day. But I find it hilarious that I can upload a tactic that intentionally is made bad. To give you an idea, if you've not seen it, it has 3 centre-backs, 3 anchor men, 1 ungaunch, and then 3 target men up front.
And what would you want in a wall?
Exactly, that's why it's called the wall. But people who downloaded it, if you saw it, you're going to go, this isn't going to work, it's clearly a troll. But there were genuinely people who were like, I simulated through a season with Barcelona and was sacked after 6 games. It's like, well, why are you managing Barcelona in the first place? And why are you getting sacked immediately? And why are you downloading tactics?
Why are you simming it for a whole year? Why are you getting a team and then just simming it for a whole year?
There was another one who was like, I'm playing as Manchester United and I sold all my full-backs and wing-backs and signed players who were strong, like you suggested, like Lewandowski and Shawcross. And it isn't working. I'm like, oh my god. But no, I do like the workshop and the way you can download tactics. I know there's been a few problems with it crashing and stuff on people and not loading. But I've shared some serious tactics on there. I think they're second and third most downloaded too. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's nice and it's good to see people actually using it. And for me, as someone who does obviously FM videos, being able to upload my tactics that people ask for is nice. And obviously it gets people who maybe aren't that interested in videos aware of it. I don't know how much you've used of the workshop in terms of...
Well, I got a skin, so, I've not used it. I do feel like some of it was... a little bit difficult to, not difficult to install, but a bit more complex than I thought it was going to be. Not by like a great deal, I'm talking, you had to search it out a bit, because you'd subscribe to the item.
Yeah, it is very unclear.
And I think a lot of people thought that, like, I don't know if anyone else thought the same, but I subscribed to it, and I thought, that will put it on my preferences then. And it wasn't there, and I was like, okay. Yeah. And then you have to go and install it. So if you've got that problem and you're a bit embarrassed to ask anyone, then eventually I worked it out, and that's what you do. So there you are. Solved.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I like it. Obviously, I'm looking at it now. The Wall is the 3rd highest rated file of all time.
Wow.
At the moment of the pages of it. I will put a link down in the description to my workshop where all my tactics are, so you can check them out if that's your thing. And you can subscribe to me there, which helps me out with sharing tactics and stuff. But yeah, I like the new integration of stuff. I think it could have been explained differently. Stuff like my better regen spaces I've got working from last year, which is really nice. Stuff like graphics files, you can just copy and paste them over, which is really nice. And all in all, pretty impressed with the game as a whole. I love the dark skin. Really, I prefer the dark skin. It's miles better.
Yeah, do you find it funny that they didn't kind of release that just on the actual game? Because it has been in previous years, hasn't it?
I do wonder if they just put it in so people had to use the workshop once. That would be my thinking behind it.
You know what? That's very, very sneaky. But yeah, you're probably right.
Because then people use it once and then they're like, oh, so this is how you do it. Like, it's almost a tutorial for how to do it. Because I know the majority of people do play on a dark skin. Yeah. So far as I'm aware, just from my viewers and people who I talk to. But no, I mean, I'm having fun. I've got this Wolves save I've been streaming. You're doing a Norwich save. I'm in 2019 already, which, I don't know, hopefully win the league soon. But I was struggling last time we recorded with the tactics, and I got sacked twice. And now I've finally got a system that works for me. Just about getting to grips with the tactics. Here and there's a few minor gripes that I have. But all in all, adapting well. I don't know if you've had any kind of crazy results which are worth sharing. I know I've had one pretty incredible one.
Not really. I will say that if you've done network games, I don't know if you find because they seem to run far greater this year. I don't know if that's just I don't know. I don't know if they've just improved it. It's as simple as that. But me and Peter have started doing a network game, and we tried to create we created a club each and tried to start from Skrill. It didn't work.
Yeah, I know there's been a few database problems and stuff.
I'm going to have to talk to you about it, Jack, because do you know what, we were in tears last night.
I'll probably be able to fix it for you. But no, I like the game. My best result, 5-0 against Barcelona at home with Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Champions League. It's not a bad start to the game, really, 2 weeks in.
No, you've completed it, I think, now, have you not?
No, I think I'll have the game completed in a week, technically. I think 5-0 against Barcelona with Wolves is pretty much completing the game.
Yeah, I'd give up. I'd play a different game. Call of Duty's out soon. I'll just do that from now on.
I'm waiting for a phone call from Scotland about the job, really. I think I'm on the radar now. They've seen the wall. They appreciate it.
Yeah, they've downloaded the wall. They've tried to apply it.
They've run some simulations and it works better because they don't lose 10-0 anymore. But no, I'm loving the game. I don't know if you've got any other topics that you particularly want to talk about there in the forefront of your mind.
Oh, well, the only one I really had was I find young players a bit difficult to hold on to. I don't know if anyone else is having the same thing. They just seem to get really arsey really quickly.
That's why you sign them as backups.
Yeah, but I don't want it. Yeah, but then they don't sign the contract.
Well, then you're being overambitious. But no, I have experienced that. I've actually found that this year, I pissed off a player called Junior, who is now a 5-star current ability player in the Champions League at the age of 20. But I pissed him off, and then I kind of slowly groomed him by offering him, well, not offering him new contracts, but telling him he was a good ambassador for the club after 6 months of him not talking to me. Snuck him in a new contract. And you can rebuild relationships now if you give it enough time.
Yeah, which is good, because before it would be the point of no return.
I have a left-back I've got him on a release clause of 37 million, and he was really unhappy that I didn't let him go to Monaco, and I was like, you know what, we're going to do okay. We finished 10th that year, still a bit unhappy, and then we finished 4th the next year, and he was really happy. He signed a new contract, I was able to talk to him again, and I like the fact now that, as you said, some players are inclined to go to bigger teams. I think that's to do with their ambition. But there is certainly a margin to kind of build up better relationships with your players and the kind of manager world you're in, like we said, with Jose Mourinho with the loan, as you had with the Nani loan. The only particularly weird thing I've seen in FM so far that I'm because sometimes FM gets things right, doesn't it? You're like, oh, that happened in real life.
Yeah.
The only weird one I've seen is David Moyes at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like, that's never going to happen.
No.
Which... I think he'd be murdered before he got there, to be honest.
I became very serious there. When you said that, I became very serious.
He's just like, no.
Don't joke about that sort of thing. That's not even...
I don't know if you've seen any other odd things, but...
Liverpool have been challenging for titles.
On my save, they've been finishing 16th every year.
No, Sunderland are in League 2.
Sunderland, I think Wigan might be in League 2 on my save. Let me check.
I'm only 6 years in, so sorry, Sunderland fans. That might be a sign of things to come.
Yeah, Wigan are in League 2 on my save. and I'm in 2019, so it's not looking great for them. Back-to-back relegations. Craig Bellamy as manager now.
Oh,
it's not looking good. Although they did fight for a hard-earned 2-2 draw against Chesterfield in their last game.
Well, I think that deserves a round of applause.
I've seen Bradford be taken over by a tycoon, and they're in League One and they can't get out of it.
I got a takeover actually on my notes, which I was pleased about, and then you wanted to bring Michael Large up in, and I was like, oh, don't do that.
Don't do it. I'm sorry.
I think that could be it, Jackie boy.
I think that is it. I think that's a wrap. Thank you for watching. Ben, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, from Twitch's #1 streamer, and from me, Ben, I'm out.
Oh God, he's done it again. He's done it again.
Every day, every week, every year.
Of a goal, Pablo. It's perfection. Pablo, I think you'd be having to call for an oxygen tank for me, my friend.